For those that don't think that an electric car can be a performance vehicle, you need to watch this video. This is the Hyundai IONIQ 5N, and it's a game changer. I don't use that phrase lightly. Battery electric vehicles with their instant power and torque can be a hoot. The Hyundai IONIQ 5N could be the hootiest? Damn. Hyundai has brought automotive writers to the promised land, WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca in Monterey County, California, to demonstrate what happens when you push the engineering of an EV to the nth degree. Retailing for $67,500, including destination, it's hard to find this much performance bang for the buck in any other showroom, gas or electric. IONIQ 5N is not a stripes and trim package. It's a very deep high-performance variant, and after spending a day with it, you get the feeling that Hyundai really wants to prove something. Typically, the performance formula is to add power, bigger brakes, better cooling, stiffer suspension, sticky rubber on 21-inch wheels, and bolstered seats. 5N gets all of that, of course. It shares its eGMP architecture with Kia's highly regarded EV6 GT. But 5N is in a different league.
This motorsports-inspired track endurance means that the IONIQ 5N can literally survive 2 laps on the Nürburgring Nordschleife, when most EVs, as we know, can barely make 1 lap on the Nordschleife.
So obviously this ends up being the most powerful Hyundai product ever produced for production cars. I think when the team set out to develop this car, there really was no benchmark, right? And the idea for this car is to kind of set the benchmark of a performance EV and what it can be and what it should be.
On a daily basis, N's upgraded dual-motor all-wheel drive punches out 601 horsepower and 543 pound-feet of torque to move 4,860 pounds of steel, plastic, and lithium-ion battery pack. Push this button and it rises to 641 horses and 568 pound-feet for 10 seconds. Think Porsche Sport Chrono button. The transmission remains single speed. There's no physical cog swaps. These add and subtract regeneration drag in some drive modes. In others, they're for toggling the artificial shifts. Custom settings can be stored into memory for fast call-up. The battery is larger, 84 kilowatt hours, with higher density than the neighbor's IONIQ 5. The pack can be pre-cooled before track time. Lines from the air conditioning run through the battery. Overall, there's more cooling. The motors and battery get separate channels, and because this is on the eGMP architecture, charging can be quick.
We're able to maintain that 18-minute charge time, so 10 to 80% in 18 minutes. For an EV, it's a great capability, right? To be able to go out and have fun for 20 minutes, charge for 20, and go back out again. So it keeps you, able to do it quite often.
IONIQ 5N is EPA range rated at 221 miles. That's some 40 miles lower than other all-wheel drive 5 models. Every suspension component is unique. Dampers are adaptive. The steering rack has been strengthened. Chassis reinforcements are significant. Power bias gets 11 levels of adjustment, sending up to 70% to the rear. There's an electronic limited slip rear differential. I could go on for 20 minutes about tech upgrades and fine-tuning that's been done, but it's time to see what this machine can do.
Many of you have been here before. You know that this is a very serious track. Pay attention.
I'm a decent pilot, hardly a pro. I've not driven Laguna Seca before, and I don't play video games, so this should be interesting. We get 3 sessions of 4 laps. In neutral, I'm greeted by a throbbing sound like engine idle. What a fun job I have. No testing Hyundai's claimed 0 to 60 time of 3.2 seconds today. That seems conservative to me. Heading out, and Active Sound Plus has been activated. In this case, a synthetic 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. I really like the sound. I don't typically like noises in my EVs, but it certainly works for this. Routed through the Bose speakers, this sounds better in person. I'm guessing more will be optional. They can be turned down or off. You might have heard about the corkscrew. It's very intimidating.
Regen braking system is actually another pretty incredible one. So this one has a really strong, great amount of regen. It's a different kind of way of thinking of regen, right? It's less about efficiency and less about recuperating energy, but more about having a dynamic feel and dynamic control of the braking, while at the same time minimizing the mechanical wear on the car.
And recuperation can be adjusted for proper weight transfer when entering corners. Okay, braking feels really natural. The regen and physical brakes feather in very nicely. On the second set of 4 laps, NE shift is activated. Torque kicks and micro deceleration mimic the feeling of selecting 8 different dual clutch ratios.
The amount of work that was done to ensure that the shifting feels extremely natural. Every single individual gear has a different kind of a torque map to it, so kind of simulating that kind of like increase and build up in torque, the kind of plateau, and you can literally bounce off of a virtual red line essentially. But the shifts, the feeling of shifts in between each shift, especially if you're under wide open throttle, that kind of punch in the back, it's pretty phenomenal.
Okay, so here's the thing. There's the sound, but you actually feel the shift. It's an actual physical thing. Oh, wow, even a little bit of grumble. Downshifting blips? That's awesome. Wow, it really does feel like the real thing, which, kind of gives you cues. The best analogy I can offer are those virtual reality rides that only move a little but give riders the feeling they're entering hyperspace. All right, let's check out the manual paddles. Ooh, up against the rev limiter. Glad I'm not doing that in an ICE car. Some will see them as gimmicks. In use, the haptics and audio cues can be valuable. Again, all can be adjusted or turned off. It sounds like this on the inside. But to the rest of the world, it's stealthy. Whoa, animal! A large mammal just went across the track. Guess they don't hear it. These things are quiet. The low center of gravity is a huge asset. One thing that Hyundai can't simulate is lightness. 5N feels as light on its Pirellis as a 4,800-pound car can. Before the third set of laps, let's check out the cockpit. Available in any color, as long as it's black. The big change from a normal 5 is this substantial console with knee padding for bracing in hard cornering. It works as intended. Grippy and well bolstered, the seats are heated and vented. No sacrificing creature comforts for sport. They are manual if that's a deal breaker. Rounding out the major changes, a beefy heated wheel with buttons for storing custom drive modes. I took the N on regular roads for a half hour, softened the suspension and dial back the pedal response. It becomes a great everyday driver while keeping its chuckable fun. It never gets as soft and cushy as the standard IONIQ 5 though. Back here, there's room for 3 average-sized adults. The only thing compromised is footroom, a little, and no pockets on the seatbacks. 5N has a true Jekyll and Hyde personality, right down to useful cargo space. Seats up, there's 26 cubic feet of storage, a foot less than normal 5s. Dropped, there's 59. There's no spare, only a repair kit. On the third lap session, I play with the N Grin button. See how fast I can go on this straight. 119, not bad. The extra 40 horses and 23 pound-feet can be felt on uphill stretches, but there's not much straightaway room to use the boost. Laguna Seca, it's a challenging track. For most owners, IONIQ 5N will be like slicing cheddar with a chainsaw. It needs a track to even start exploring the capabilities. Damn it. Hey, I'll admit getting into some trouble. That's on me. Fortunately, 5N is forgiving. Steering feel builds nicely. There's proper understeer at the limit. Boy, the control is spot on. You can drift. Stability control feathers in without being an overbearing babysitter. No real-world range testing today. Those 221 miles are being obliterated at high speed. Last lap. For track days, Hyundai has developed a tracked state of charge algorithm that calculates battery consumption on every lap in case the raceway doesn't have high-speed chargers and you're driving home. IONIQ 5N is a breakthrough vehicle offering unmatched tech and value, and it's an ambassador of sorts. EV and combustion engine fans will both be slack-jawed by its capability. Supplies are limited. For those that love to drive, check in with your local Hyundai dealership to see if they have one in stock. For the Seattle International Auto Show, I'm Tom Voelk.